ख़त्म हो रहा है। सलाहुद्दीन एजुकेशन सर्विसेज ने इन बच्चों को गलियों और सड़कों से उठाकर स्कूल के पाकीज़ा माहौल में दाखिल करवा दिया है। सलाहुद्दीन फाउंडेशन इन बच्चों को किताबें, कापियाँ, यूनिफॉर्म, बस्ते और हर मुमकिन सहूलत फराहम कर रही है। मारूफ ह्यूमैनिटेरियन और सूफी स्कॉलर आमना सलाहुद्दीन की सरपरस्ती में चलने वाला ये इदारा मुकम्मल तौर पर फी सबीलिल्लाह चल रहा है और तमाम रज़ाकार इस काम को अपना फ़र्ज समझकर अंजाम दे रहे हैं। आपके अतियात, ज़कात और सदक़ात पाकिस्तान के बच्चों को एक बेहतर मुस्तक़बिल दे सकते हैं।
आपसे रिश्ता है प्यार का।
Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Amna Salahuddin is back with yet another episode of Understanding Faith. Welcome all to the show. Please call us with questions. And the topic for today I chose, as is apt, is the Thanksgiving holiday. We do get a lot of questions from different Muslims about whether it's right or wrong to celebrate Thanksgiving, what is the significance of Thanksgiving, and how do we interpret Thanksgiving in the light of Islam and spirituality and our faith, especially when we live in America where everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of questions in people's minds. But before I go on to the topic, I just want to wrap up the one question and then a bunch of emails and questions that we have received in between last show and today. So somebody had called and asked about the soul and the ruh, what it is. And I had described what the soul is. It is a part of God. It's God's breath within us. So that part from God comes into this body of clay, and that makes the person the true human being, the exalted human being, or in Urdu we say Ashraful Makhluqat, which makes us the pure person, and that makes us the good, the best creation of God, and a very good and exalted being. But I was saying that to become that exalted being, we have to find the God within ourselves. We have to bring out all the godly qualities of compassion, love, kindness, tolerance, justice, and peace to everybody. And when we find that, when we find those godly qualities and bring them all over us, then we become a piece of that nur, a piece of God's nur. Then we are no longer that person who is just made up of clay and mud and some dirt. So the reason I wanted to bring this up was because I wanted to also address the second part of the question as to where the soul goes right after we pass away, because the person had asked, what is the soul? What is the significance of the soul? And then what happens to it after we die? So when the soul is a part of God, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear viewers, when the soul is a part of God, how can it die? The soul does not die. I want to make this clarification to everybody. That is what the Quran teaches us. And I want to maybe quote maybe one or two verses on life after death. But the soul does not die. The death is really a transformation from this world to the other world. The other world is really, according to the Quran, the real world in front of us. The other world is our main world. In this world, we will come for 70, 80, 100 years maximum, maybe 105 years if we live that long. But most people die within 80 to 100 years. And that is considered a long life, my dear viewers. That's considered a long life if you live up to 80 or 100. The country we all come from, Pakistan, we don't have much longevity. A lot of people die in their 60s and 70s. And some people get lucky enough to die in their 80s and 90s, and hardly anybody reaches 100. But usually when we code, just for an example purposes, we say 100 years for this life. but it's 100 years or even much less than that, because I'm sure you all know that a lot of your buzurgs or ancestors or grandparents or parents passed away when they were very young, and it's very hard to even reach that 100 years. But the hereafter, the life after death, is the most important. We just don't go to sleep somewhere, my dear friends. We don't go to sleep somewhere. The Quran actually talks about it. It talks about one or two verses talk actually about what happens right after death. Especially, it also talks about it for the sinners. But just to sum it up, the good souls, they go towards heaven, and the bad souls, they go towards hell. Now, there is also, the Quran also mentions, there is a whole actually chapter on it, Surah Al-Araf. The Quran mentions Al-Araf is the abode, it's the realm of separation between hell and heaven, which is neither hell nor heaven. So the people that are kind of good people but not really good, or people that have done some sins but have not really stayed away much from sin either, the people that had iman and faith in their hearts but their actions are mixed, they are doing both good and they're doing bad, they're not completely the people that have earned Jannah or haven't earned paradise yet, but they are people that were I should say repentant on the bad things they did. They did some bad, they did some good. They will go to Al Araf, and the Quran talks about it, that they will, inshallah, they will wait to go into Jannah. They're not going to go into Jannah right away because they haven't really earned it, but inshallah, eventually they will go there. But really, viewers, we don't want to be in that state, because we could be in Al Araf for centuries, and we don't want to even be in Al Araf. We want to be the people and the Muslims and the human beings that have earned paradise, that have earned Jannah. So actually, the soul, when the body dies, it's just the body that dies. The soul goes towards whatever the soul had earned, to good or to bad, to hell or to heaven. And I want to actually take one verse. We don't have time because we are going to go on to our current topic, and I have to answer some questions on some emails that I have received. So I'm just going to kind of sum it up. I want to read from one ayah. I believe this one I'm going to read is from Surah Al-Anfal. Let me double check. Yes, it's chapter 8, Al-Anfal, and it's ayah 50. Let me read from it, the Arabic and the translation. So you can all see what happens to the soul, and especially the sinning soul, what happens. And then also the goods, for the good soul, I'm remembering another verse. It says, "Basari'u ila maghfiratum min rabbikum wa jannah." That is for the good soul, that, oh, you good soul, now you can enter paradise. Now that you've passed away, you enter paradise. That is for the good soul. But currently, let me quote from Surah Al-Anfal, and it says, وَرَوْتَلَا إِذْ يَتَوَفَّى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَضْرِبُونَ وُجُوهَهُمْ وَأَدْيَارَهُمْ وَذُوقُوا عَذَابَ الْحَرِيقِ. And if thou could see when the angels take the souls of the disbelievers at death, how they smite their faces and their backs, saying, taste the penalty of the blazing fire. Oh my God, I hope none of us fall in that category. So in Al-Anfal, Surah 8 Surah, in the verse 50th, in Ayah 50, Allah is telling us that when the angels come and they take the soul out of the body and the body dies, the angels are hitting that bad sinning soul right at death. They are punishing, and the punishment has started. The angels are hitting their heads and their faces and saying, now we are taking you to the fire. We are taking you to hell, so you taste the punishment of what you did. Oh my God. Viewers, we cannot even take fire for 2 seconds. If I put my hand in the burning fire for a split second, I cry out in deep pain. All of us do that. We cannot take the wrath and punishment of God. We cannot take God's fire at all. Forget eternity, forget centuries, forget years. We cannot take it even for a few seconds. We cannot take it for a minute. In a few minutes, we would have been burned to charcoal. Fire really takes flame real fast, and fire grows real fast, and fire burns real fast. Can any of us even take 1 second of fire? No, we cannot. So please do not take this lightly. The soul does not die, only the body dies. The soul goes to its real abode, which is the hereafter. And the process of punishment, heaven and hell, starts immediately upon our death. Then the freedom of choice at that time is taken away from us. If the soul is a good soul, which found the godly qualities within itself, as the Sufi have explained, that find the godly qualities within you, find God within you. If you keep fighting the selfish desires and the anger and the negativism and the hatred and the selfish desires and the desire to exceed and succeed and put others down, we are all in that boat. We think we are only good, we are only deserving of good. We don't care one bit about who comes in front of us, who we step on, what we do. We become so unfair. We pray 5 times a day. We do 30 fasts in Ramadan. But when it comes to going ahead, when it comes to getting something good for ourselves, we forget about others in a heartbeat. We cannot do that. We really, really have to focus on our soul and become the good soul. The Quran also talks about 3 types of souls: nafs ammara, nafs lawama, and nafs mutmainna. The nafs ammara, that is the sinful soul. And then the nafs lawama, and God has sworn by it, nafs lawama, la uqsimu bi yawmil qiyamati wa la uqsimu bin nafs lawama, in Surah 29th, I believe. Yes, Separa 29 in Surah Qiyamah. And God has said that by the admonishing soul. So the admonishing soul, of course, is better than the sinful soul, because the admonishing soul tells us when when we do something wrong. I'm being told by my producers that we have a call. Assalamu alaikum, you are on the air. Assalamu alaikum.
This is Habib from Long Island.
I can barely hear you, my dear brother. Can you speak louder?
Yeah, this is Habib from Long Island. Hello?
Okay, this is what I need you to do. I need you to give the question to my producer. Your voice, I can barely hear you. Give the question to my producer. Let him convey it to me in the break, and inshallah, right after the break, we will address it. Because after a few minutes, we're going to be asked to take a short break, but I could not hear pretty much anything that you said, so I'm going to need you to give it to the producer. I'm going to need them to either type it into me or tell me during the break, and we will address it. I'm so sorry about that. Somehow I could not hear what you're saying. I don't know if it's about the soul, but I have a feeling that it's a question about the soul, inshallah, or a comment about the soul. So basically, just to move it along, the soul goes to either hell or heaven, and the Quran talks about it, the Hadith talks about it, and the soul is the breath of God within us. That is the real human being. The body is just really a hotel for the soul. So the real person is the soul. The body is going to die. It is going to decay. It is going to be it was made of mud and clay. It's going to go back in the dirt. It's going to become dirt. But what is going to live on forever, and the real human being, is the soul. So inshallah, I'm hoping that we can all reach nafs mutmainna, which is the satisfied soul. And for the nafs mutmainna, which is the good soul, the peaceful soul, the soul that has overcome all its desires, all its selfishness, all the hatred, all the enmity, all the negative feelings, and that soul just serves everyone and loves everyone, just like God serves us and God loves us, and God is kind to everybody. The sun shines on everyone, the moon shines on everyone, the rain comes down on everyone. There is no discrimination for any of God's bounties. Just like that, we have to become like that in our lives with other human beings. And once we become that person, then we become nafs mutmainna. And then the Quran says for the nafs mutmainna, وَسَارِيُوا إِلَىٰ مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ. Oh, my peaceful soul, go unto God, go unto paradise. You earned it. You did the right thing, and that's what it says. Now, the one thing, I got several emails. I was also able to attend a few gatherings, and I was asked this question. So I really want to, I've addressed it a few times in the past, but I'm going to in a short form, address this question that somebody wrote to me and asked me, and then at some gatherings, people came to me and asked me about the significance of Milad. Is it right to celebrate Milad? Is it right to show love and adoration for the Prophet? Is it right to show love and adoration for the Awliya Karam and the Anbiya Karam? Because they felt that we were equating these people with God, and that, adoring them is wrong, or it's some kind of shirk, or it's ascribing partners unto God. So what I'm going to say to that is, I've said it before, that it all depends on what we intend. We do know that God has delegated some of his special powers to some of his special prophets. Isa alayhi salam was able to bring the deceased to life. Ibrahim alayhi salam was able to do the same, and he was able to take a bird that had, that somebody had cut into many pieces and make it a whole. Musa alayhi salam had some miracles from God. So we do need to know that everything is from Allah. Once we know that everything is from Allah, Allah is saying in his own book, Isa alayhi salam is called Ruhullah, the Ruh of Allah, the soul of Allah. That's how much Allah is giving him praise. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. For Moses and others, Dawood, Suleiman, Adam, Ibrahim, the Quran says these were exalted human beings. They were blessed human beings. God spoke to them. God revealed to them. God kept them, gave his secrets to them. He explained things to them. So they are definitely exalted human beings. Now, if we show love and adoration to our teachers, to our prophets, to our walis, tell me what is wrong with doing that. That is a positive thing, my dear viewers. I hear people say, oh, Shah Rukh Khan is my favorite actor, or Kareena Kapoor, or such and such, Salman Khan is my favorite, and other people respond by saying, oh, you know what? He's my favorite, she's my favorite, and people rave about actors and actresses, and they're good people. We're not here to say bad about anybody. As good Muslims, we don't judge anybody, we say good. But what I'm saying is, my point is, when we can adore Brad Pitt, we can adore Hrithik Roshan, we can adore Kareena Kapoor, why can't we adore our prophets and our walis and our Sahaba Karam and our Khulafai Rashidin? What is wrong with adoring them, and what is wrong with showing them love and respect? Surah Fatiha lays down the role of a teacher. When God says, say, Ehdina Siratal Mustaqim, Siratal Lazina Anamta Alayhim, Ghairil Maghdubi Alayhim Waladdallin Ameen. Take us to the path of those who were on the right path, on who you put your blessings, and not those who went astray. So the role of the teacher, God has determined, and he has taken some of his chosen servants and some of his chosen human beings that he created, the Anbiya Karam, and talked about them and how he delegated powers to them and how he exalted them one above the other. So showing them adoration is a sign of Iman. That means we have our priorities in order. We are loving people that really deserve to be loved. Yes, love the favorite actor, love the singer, but don't you think, my dear viewers, that our Anbiya Karam, Awliya Karam, our Sahaba Karam, they are deserving of a lot more love than any of these people? These are people that did immense tazkiyah. They gave up their lives for God. Take the example of Imam Hussein. He not only gave his life, he gave the life of his children, his loved ones. His two sons died right in front of him, his son-in-law and his Imam Hassan radiallahu anhu's son, Hazrat Qasim, his brother Abbas, they all died in front of him. He gave all of that up just to speak the truth, just to stand up for the right cause of God and the Prophet, to uphold Islam. So why shouldn't we adore these people? There is nothing wrong with adoring them. The only thing the Quran calls shirk is when we ascribe partners unto God that have, as the Quran says, no sanad, no validation. When they made gods like Lat and Mana and Azza, and these are mentioned in the Quran. When they made gods and they made creatures that were non-existent and made them something, the idols. Not the people that God elevated himself. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, God called him Rahmatul lil Alameen. God says in the Quran, God says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. God and his angels send blessings and salutations and salat and salam on the Prophet. O you believers, please you also send salat and salam on the Prophet. Subhanallah, Allah is giving salams to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Angels are giving salams to him. Look how Allah talks about the blessed day Jesus was born, Isa was born, saying that salam us din par jab Isa paida hua, salam us din jis din wo uthaya gaya. Oh, alhamdulillah, subhanallah, the way he talked about Musa and Dawood alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam, Ishaq alayhi salam, Zakaria alayhi salam, Yahya alayhi salam. Oh my God, subhanallah. These were the chosen people. When we adore them, we are on the right path, my dear viewers. We cannot have these kind of confusions in our minds. The people of God, the Sahaba Karam, when you took the name of the Prophet, they used to just take their shoes off right away. The Tabain and the Tabain, they did that. That was their natural instinct. They showed so much reverence. Hazrat Uwais Qarni, who, when he heard that the Prophet lost his tooth, he killed his own tooth. I mean, who does that? These kind of adorations are part of Islam. They're showing our pure heart and the true person within us. That is a good thing. So if you're feeling love and admiration for your parents, for the prophets, for the walis, for the Khulafai Rashdeen, for the Sahaba Karam, for the Tabain, Tabain, this is a good thing. You're loving your teachers as you should. We should not think that this is any problem or anything. Okay, it is time for a break, viewers. I will take more calls when I return, and we'll also start to discuss on Thanksgiving, inshallah. Do keep calling, please, and I will come back right after a short break. Assalamu alaikum.
सड़क पर चीजें तेजी से पेश आती है। गाड़ी चलाते वक्त आपको रफ्तार सुस्त महसूस हो सकती है, लेकिन आप अगर किसी से टकराते हैं तो यही रफ्तार इंतहाई तेज लगती है। ड्राइवर हजरात, पैदल राहगीरों और साइकिल सवारों का ख्याल करें। मोड़ पर अपनी रफ्तार 5 मील फी घंटा रखें। तेज रफ्तार जिंदगियां तबाह कर देती है। रफ्तार सुस्त करे।
Get your copy of newly published novel Uphill. Uphill is a window into contemporary Pakistani life and is a story of a young Pakistani couple who battle life on many fronts. Written by well-known physician Dr. Zora Salahuddin, Uphill grabs your full attention. Get your copy today at Amazon.com or from the publisher iUniverse. You can also order it at BarnesandNobles.com. Get your copy today.
ह्यूमन रिलीफ इंटरनेशनल पाकिस्तान के चारों सूबों के सैलाबज़दगान तक खुराक, अद्वियात, पीने का साफ पानी और दीगर इमदादी सामान फराहम कर रही है। इस मुसलसल काविश की तकमील में हमारा साथ दें। अपने अतियात ह्यूमन रिलीफ इंटरनेशनल को इरसाल करें। मज़ीद मालूमात के लिए व्हाट्सएप कॉल और डोनेशंस ज़ेल करने के लिए 212-810-9416। अपने अतियात ह्यूमन रिलीफ इंटरनेशनल को डोनेट करके पाकिस्तानी सैलाबज़दगान की मदद कीजिए।
न्यूयॉर्क ट्राई स्टेट एरिया में कोविड-19 के शदीद बहरान के दौरान पाक फ्यूनरल होम के स्टाफ और वॉलंटियर्स ने अपने मुसलमान बहन भाइयों की आखिरी रसूमात की अदायगी के लिए दिन रात खिदमत सरअंजाम दी हैं। हम हमेशा की तरह खिदमत के इस जज्बे को जारी रखे हुए हैं। पाक फ्यूनरल होम की खिदमत के 10 साल इस्लामी असूलों और स्टेट लॉज के ऐन मुताबिक आपके प्यारों का सफर आखिरत इज्जत और एहतराम के साथ पाक फ्यूनरल होम।
ये सूरज ये सितारों का जहां कोई नहीं देगा। जमी खोई तो तुमको अमान कोई नहीं देगा, वतन ये मिट गया तो तुम भी मिट जाओगे नादानो। इसी को जिंदगी समझो, इसी को जिंदगी मानो, कि पाकिस्तान से बाहर तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं यारों, कि पाकिस्तान से बाहर हमारा कुछ नहीं यारों।
इस थैंक्सगिविंग अपनी फैमिली और फ्रेंड्स के साथ शाहनवाज का खुसूसी थैंक्सगिविंग बफे एंजॉय कीजिए। हलाल टर्की, अमेरिकन और देसी स्टाइल में भी, और थैंक्सगिविंग की मुनासबत से बहुत सी लजीज डिशेस शाहनवाज के मयार और जायके की रवायत के साथ। फॉर रिजर्वेशंस कॉल 7322254640।
Get your copy of newly published novel Uphill. Uphill is a window into contemporary Pakistani life and is a story of a young Pakistani couple who battle life on many fronts. Written by well-known physician Dr. Salahuddin, Uphill grabs your full attention. Get your copy today at Amazon.com or from the publisher iUniverse. You can also order it at BarnesandNobles.com. Get your copy today.
गुर्बत, अफलास, भूख, मगर अब ये सब कुछ खत्म हो रहा है। सलाहुद्दीन एजुकेशन सर्विसेज ने इन बच्चों को गलियों और सड़कों से उठाकर स्कूल के पाकीज़ा माहौल में दाखिल करवा दिया है। सलाहुद्दीन फाउंडेशन इन बच्चों को किताबें, कापियाँ, यूनिफॉर्म, बस्ते और हर मुमकिन सहूलत फराहम कर रही है। मारूफ ह्यूमैनिटेरियन और सूफी स्कॉलर आमना सलाहुद्दीन की सरपरस्ती में चलने वाला ये इदारा मुकम्मल तौर पर फी सबीलिल्लाह चल रहा है और तमाम रज़ाकार इस काम को अपना फ़र्ज समझकर अंजाम दे रहे हैं। आपके अतियात, ज़कात और सदक़ात पाकिस्तान के बच्चों को एक बेहतर मुस्तक़बिल दे सकते हैं।
आज के दौर में कामयाब बिजनेस चलाने के लिए दो चीजें जरूरी हैं, अच्छे कस्टमर्स और उससे भी अच्छी कस्टमर सर्विस, और दोनों ही मुमकिन है अगर आपके साथ है ओल्ड कम्युनिकेशन, फास्टली ग्रोइंग कस्टमर सर्विस सपोर्ट कंपनी स्पेशलाइजिंग इन इनबाउंड एंड आउटबाउंड बिजनेस कम्युनिकेशंस विद हाईली ट्रेन्ड मल्टीलिंगुअल स्टाफ एंड कंपेटिटिव रेट्स। 9173193626 पर आज ही कॉल करें या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें और हमारी सर्विसेज के बारे में जानिए। इंश्योरेंस एजेंट्स और स्मॉल बिजनेसेस के लिए खुसूसी आपका सबसे बेहतर बिजनेस डिसीजन, ओल्ड कम्युनिकेशंस।
यूएस ट्रैवल्स एंड टूर्स की जानिब से आपके लिए खुसूसी उम्रा पैकेजेस, मक्का और मदीना में 5 स्टार अकोमोडेशन, वीआईपी बसेस, ब्रेकफास्ट और ज़ियारत। इसके अलावा ट्रैवल इन एमिरेट्स एयरलाइंस एंड फ्री होटल स्टे इन दुबई, visa processing service for no additional charge, complimentary giveaways and Zamzam water, and sisters over 45 can travel without mahram. For more information call 972-889-8747. US Travel and Tours, 888 S Greenville Avenue, Suite 130, Richardson, Texas. ह्यूस्टन में देसी हलाल चाइनीज खानों का काबिल एतमाद नाम चाइना किंग। Neat and clean environment, courteous staff, lots of variety and low prices. देसी चाइनीज खानों का असल मजा सिर्फ चाइना किंग में। चाइनीज खाना है तो चाइना किंग चले। ऑर्डर करने के लिए अभी कॉल कीजिए 2819808886, 3338 हाईवे 6, शुगरलैंड, टेक्सास।
आपसे रिश्ता है प्यार का।
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, viewers. Welcome back after the break. Amna Salahuddin is back with your favorite show, Understanding Faith. With the feedback that we're getting, we understand that you guys are liking the show. We are getting several calls. I do apologize. There was a sound issue, and we couldn't. There was a sound issue, and we couldn't hear the question. But my producer did relay the question to me. So the question was that when we read Quran and we do Isal Sawab, we do read or give charity in the name of the deceased soul, what happens to that? How does it reach the sinning soul? How does it reach the soul in the middle, which is in Al-Araf? And how does it reach the soul that is in Jannah? So I'm going to just do a very short, we do have to, I apologize, we're again having some sound issues. I do have to do it very short because we do have to get into the main subject of the show, and we've been dealing with constantly with questions and answers. But the person asked a very good question, and I want to clarify all the doubts in the mind of everybody by answering this question. Isal Sawab is a very good thing. The dua, especially from children to parents and grandparents, inshallah, always reaches and will reach. We have a God that shows us mercy, and when we do anything with a pure heart, our intent is important. Not to show the world, not to follow a ritual, not to do anything ritualistically, but when we do it with a true heart and pure sincerity, inshallah, it will reach the deceased soul. So what the way the Sufia have explained it is that, or the wise men, that when a person dies and the loved one send the gift of Quran or give the gift of sadaqah in their name, or feed or clothe someone for them, then if they are in heaven, then the people that serve the jannatis, the people that serve the people in heaven, the hur, the malak, they right away carry that Quran and the pearls of that to them right away and present it to them and say, here is the gift from your children or your grandchildren or your family or your sibling. Here is your gift. And they're elevated even more in their daraja, in their status. They are given a better place in heaven, and they right away get the reward, get the award from what you are sending to them. So do not stop doing that Isal Sawab. Do not think, oh, my father has died, my mother has died, my grandparent has died, now they're on their own. No. It is proven, we don't have enough time to go through the Quran and hadiths on it, but it does, all the prayer and charity done for the deceased in good intent reaches them. As for the people in Al-Araf, when they receive the people that are in the middle, they're neither in hell nor in heaven, then it shortens their life to get to heaven, inshallah. It will shorten their sin, it will shorten their being in a state of purgatory, in a state where they're waiting for heaven, and it will shorten that, and they will get a small taste of heaven when you send them that Quran or do some charity in their name. So keep doing that. Now, as for the sinner, as the wise men have explained, as for the sinner, what happens is that when we do Isal Sawab for our relatives that lived in deep sin, lived in shirk, lived in disbelief, did everything wrong, hurt others, didn't follow anything of the Sharia, and really was very arrogant, then in that case, when you do Isal Sawab, then what happens is that person's punishment is lessened just for that time that people are reading the Quran for him or giving charity for him, and his punishment is lessened a little bit at that time, and he's given a little bit of a respite right at that time. So I would always do Isal. I recently did a Milad for Gyarvi Sharif and the anniversary of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani and Baba Muhyiddin, and in that we honored our parents. My parents are deceased. We read a Quran for my mom or Quran for my dad. Now, only Allah has the power to accept. It doesn't mean that because we read, it's going to be accepted. It has to be done with pure intent. It has to be done with a true heart. It has to be done and beg God to accept it. And inshallah, we believe that when it's done with a pure intent, Allah will accept. Allah is able to do all things. He can do whatever he wants. Tu'izzu man tasha, tuzillu man tasha, yu'izzu man tasha. Whatever he wants, he does. Nothing is in our hands, and we have to have that belief. Because when we end our arrogance and humble our head down in prayer and humble ourselves before every human being, no matter if he is our servant, our employee, no matter if he's a janitor, God has told us, bow our head and your arrogance. And the Quran says you can neither rend the mountains nor you can do anything. We are helpless people. We have to know our reality. We have to know that we're nothing. And actually, when you realize you're nothing is the start of your learning. That is what tariqah is all about. When the lessons of Sharia end and the tariqah starts, that's the first lesson. Maulana Rumi, where he was a big faqih, he was a big jurist. He used to wear these beautiful robes and people loved him, and he used to hold court. And there were a lot of people like that. Baba Bhulle Shah, and there were so many people. They were so well respected. But when they entered the other aspect of Sharia, the tariqah, when they mastered Sharia, in Maulana Rumi's case, his master, his teacher told him, go sit on the street, gave him a bowl, said, put some dates in it, and everybody that you see on the street, give him a date and tell him to hit you with his shoe on the head. मौलाना रूमी के उस्ताद ने कहा कि जा सड़क पे बैठ जा, प्याले में खजूरें डाल के दे दी मौलाना रूमी को और कहा कि सड़क पे बैठ, हर आने जाने वाले को एक खजूर दे और जवाब में उससे कहे कि मेरे सर पे एक जूता मार. इस तरह, क्योंकि इंसान के अंदर इतना तकब्बुर होता है, इतना घुमंड होता है जो उसको खत्म करना होता है. Viewers, when I made my own charity, when I made Salahuddin Education Services, I thought I was doing something good. I thought I was doing something for the children of Pakistan. But I will tell you something. I used to be a woman who could not accept even $1 from anybody. I had my pride. I had my dignity. I did not like to do that. But when we made SES, I had to tell people, we used to hold events for fundraising. I used to ask people to buy the tickets. I used to beg them to buy the tickets. I used to offer it for half. And it was so hard for me to do that. And while I was doing that, I realized that my inner arrogance was being ended. I thought I was doing something good for the world, and mashallah, we are doing, inshallah, I hope Allah considers it something good. But we were also doing something good for ourselves, because that exercise was an exercise in humility. मेरी अपने अंदर का जो भी कहीं पर छुपा हुआ था गुरूर, वो भी निकाला जा रहा था. क्योंकि जब मुझे लोगों से कहना पड़ा कि ये $10 की टिकट खरीद लो और $20 की टिकट खरीद लो और $50 की, और उनकी मिन्नतें करनी पड़ी इस चैरिटी को चलाने के लिए, इसके इवेंट्स के लिए, लोगों को बुलाने के लिए, तो मुझे एहसास हुआ कि अल्लाह ताला मेरे साथ क्या हो रहा है, मेरे साथ क्या कर रहे हैं. अल्लाह ताला मेरे अंदर जितनी भी अना थी, गुरूर था, जो भी मैं अपने आप को कुछ समझ रही थी, वो सब निकाला जा रहा था. तो फिर मैंने कहा सुभान अल्लाह, या अल्लाह, मैं समझ गई कि तू क्या चाह रहा है. मैं फ्रस्ट्रेट होने लगती थी कि कोई क्यों नहीं टिकट लेते, क्यों मुझे हाफ प्राइस भी करो तो भी मुश्किल होती है, ये होता है वो होता है. फिर मुझे इशारा हुआ, मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि अल्लाह ताला चाह रहे हैं कि मैं अपनी सारी अना को ख़त्म करके अल्लाह के बंदों के लिए खड़ी हूँ. लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं कि आप क्यों सारे साल रोज़ा रखती हैं, आधे साल पौने साल के रोज़े, 200 रोज़े क्यों रखती हैं. तो मेरे बहन भाइयों, जब तक मैं खुद भूख का एहसास नहीं करूँगी, तो फिर मैं कैसे किसी की भूख का एहसास कर सकूँगी. हमें वी हैव टू वॉक आवर टॉक 24/7. तरीक़त हमें यही सिखाती है कि शरीयत के बाद हम ऐसे इंसान बन जाएं जो कि हर चीज़ को अमलन करके दिखाता है. जब मैं भूखी रहती हूँ, रोज़ा रखती हूँ और इफ्तार पे भी रूखी सूखी ही खाने की इजाज़त होती है, तो मुझे एहसास होता है कि मेरे दूसरे बहन भाई जो भूखे हैं वो किस हाल में हैं. हमें अपने ही आप को, जब हम अपनी नफ़ी करते हैं, तभी हमें दूसरे के दुख का एहसास होता है. जब हम बीमार होते हैं तो हमें पता होता है कि बीमारी क्या चीज़ है. जब हमें डिप्रेशन होता है तो हम दूसरे के दुख और तकलीफ और डिप्रेशन का एहसास कर सकते हैं. We have to go through these things ourselves. We have to go through these things. Maulana Rumi was a big jurist. He did not need to go and beg on the streets. But all the awliya karam, they were made to do that. They were made to end their arrogance. They were made to bow their head down and beg God and beg everyone, and they needed to get all the negativism out of their head and body. Nobody is rich or poor or black or white or good or bad. It's only one level for God, taqwa. Who is better in the eyes of Allah? We cannot judge anyone. We cannot think we are better. We cannot have any discrimination in our hearts. Look at the people beneath you always and give thanks to Allah. I know that I'm also guilty. I complain to Allah. I'm not always, when things are not going my way, I get mad, I get angry. But then we have to check ourselves. We have to know that that was a wrong emotion. Even if someone hurts us, viewers, it is, everything happens with the Allah's sanction. If Allah does not say be, kun, let it be, it will not happen. So we have to do sabr, we have to do shukr. We have to think about what the lesson in it for us is. But inshallah, keep doing isale sawab for your relatives, and either they will get a better place in Jannah, they will get more rewards, more awards from that Quran that you send them, from that charity, inshallah. They will get better food, they will get more नेमत, more नेमतें, और ज़्यादा नेमतें, जो नेक, जिनके माँ बाप और बुजुर्ग नेक हैं, उनको और नेमतें मिलेंगी. जिनके माँ बाप और बुजुर्गों ने गुनाह किए थे, उनके अजाब में तखफीफ हो जाएगी. और जो लोग जन्नत के उम्मीदवार हैं, जन्नत और करीब आ जाएगी और उनको जन्नत का एक टेस्ट मिल जाएगा, जब हम इंशाअल्लाह एक सच्चे जज्बे के साथ अपने बुजुर्गों के लिए और दूसरों के लिए इसाले सवाब करेंगे. बट कीप वन थिंग इन माइंड व्यूअर्स, अल्लाह ताला ने कुरान में बार बार कहा है कि अल्लाह के पास तुम्हारा तकवा पहुंचता है, तुम्हारी नीयत पहुंचती है. तो हमें दिखावा नहीं करना, हमें किसी और के लिए नहीं, हमें हर चीज़ अल्लाह और बंदे के दरमियान है. अल्लाह ताला ही हमारी नीयतों को जानता है. तो अल्लाह ताला से भी मेरी दुआ है कि हम सब की नीयतों को खालिस करें. एंड व्यूअर्स, वी हैव टू ट्राई टू मेक आवर इंटेंट एंड आवर नियत pure, very pure, inshallah. Okay, so let's get back to the topic of Thanksgiving. So I've gotten a lot of questions which are asking me, okay, it looks like we actually have a call online. So, Assalamu alaikum, you are on the air.
This is Amna. My question is, what is the significance of Thanksgiving in Islam? And do we have to observe it here in America? And what is this turkey about? Why not any other animal or bird?
You know, I could not understand what you said. Somehow there's a problem with the volume of the incoming caller. Either their TV is on too loud, or there's some problem on the microphone of the TV system in the studio. So again, I'm going to take your question. I'm going to ask my producer to give me your question in the break. And then inshallah, after that, answer it. Inshallah, I do want to take all the questions. And I'm so happy we have many callers on the line. We have many people watching the show. I do apologize about the volume. We're going to work to fix it. So inshallah, it won't happen again. To get back to Thanksgiving, people are asking a lot about what is the significance of Thanksgiving, whether it's Islamic to celebrate Thanksgiving, whether it's un-Islamic. What is Thanksgiving, first of all, and then what would Islam say, or what would the Prophet ﷺ say about Islam, or what would Allah say about Islam? So in essence, I'm going to give one short answer and then elaborate on it, viewers. The Quran does not obviously talk about a lot of things that we do in this world, in this current day world, because those things may not have been applicable at that time. But we can, anything, because the computers were not at that time. Now we hear azan on a computer or on a cell phone. So what is the injunction? So what I'll say is everything depends on its use, how we're using it and what our intent is about it. So for celebrating, Thanksgiving is a good thing and is an Islamic thing. When I say Thanksgiving, I don't mean the holiday Thanksgiving, I mean to give thanks. Allah says actually in at least 15 to 20 verses of the Quran about giving thanks to Allah, giving thanks, being of a grateful heart, always giving thanks. And there are hadiths of the Prophet. Actually, I'm reminded of one hadith. It's narrated by Abu Huraira, I think, and it's Sunan Abu Dawood. It's a Sahih hadith. And in that, the Prophet said that whoever does not thank people does not thank Allah. Because when you become a decent human being, when we become a person of God, शुक्र गुजारी, जब हम अल्लाह वाले बनते हैं तो शुक्र गुजारी हमारे अंदर समा जाती है. हम शुक्र करने वाले बंदे बन जाते हैं, हम थैंक्स करने वाले बंदे बन जाते हैं, हम हर एक का शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं. मैं अपनी टीनेज बेटी के बारे में कहूँगी कि वो मेरी इकलौती बेटी है, लेकिन वो बच्ची 3 वक्त की दाल रोटी का भी मेरा शुक्र अदा करती है. मैंने अपने पेरेंट्स का उस तरह शुक्र अदा नहीं किया दाल रोटी के लिए जिस तरह मेरी बच्ची मेरे साथ करती है. तो उस बच्ची से मैं सीखती हूँ कि ये बच्ची 16-17 साल की बच्ची है और ये अभी से नहीं, ये अपनी 8-10 साल की उम्र से ही 2-3 वक्त की जो इनको दाल रोटी मिलती है उसके लिए भी वो इतना शुक्रिया अदा करती हैं कि अम्मी थैंक यू सो मच दैट यू डिड दिस फॉर मी, कि आपने मुझे खाना दिया। तो मैं अपनी बेटी से सीखती हूँ और हमारे बहुत से यूथ ऐसे हैं जो कि अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ इतनी इतनी पोलाइट बिहेव रखते हैं और इतना ख्याल करते हैं और इतना अदब करते हैं, और यही जो बातें हैं अल्लाह ताला को पसंद हैं। सो वी हैव टू हैव अ हार्ट that is gives thanks. We have to always give thanks. Now, as for the Thanksgiving holiday, to go in the background of it, the Pilgrims, which were the British colonists that came to America and were settled in Massachusetts, this was in 1621. The first harvest was the time that they gave their first Thanksgiving, and they actually joined the Native Indian group. I'm trying to think of what their name was. It's the Wampanoag. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's the Wampanoag tribe and group. And the Pilgrims joined with the Wampanoag because the Wampanoag, especially one of the people from that tribe, had helped the Pilgrims. They had taught them how to find food, how to find shelter, how to hunt. And they had taught them about the local land because the Indians, the native Indians, had lived there for about like 10,000 years, several years. They were living in the American land, which was actually their land. And then the Pilgrims, for thanks, they gave them thanks by going out and hunting, and there was a big 3-day feast, and this was in the fall of 1621, and they celebrated the harvest of the autumn harvest in 1621, and then there was a peace treaty signed with the Wampanoag. And then actually there was no war for I think about 50 years or so between the Pilgrims and the Native Indians. So they did this Thanksgiving out of a pure heart, out of a pure love. We'll talk more about Thanksgiving, and I'll hear that sister, I think it was a sister that called her question. And also do not forget Salahuddin Education Services. At a minimum, we need your prayers. Of course, we will only get what Allah has ordained for us. If you have a donation, the one thing is nobody gets an admin fee, nobody gets anything. All the money goes to the poor children of Pakistan, to the cause. We're opening more schools, we're sponsoring more schools. And viewers, it's time for a break. Do not change the channel. I'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
आपसे रिश्ता है प्यार का।
गुर्बत, अफलास, भूख, मगर अब ये सब कुछ ख़त्म हो रहा है। सलाहुद्दीन एजुकेशन सर्विसेज ने इन बच्चों को गलियों और सड़कों से उठाकर स्कूल के पाकीज़ा माहौल में दाखिल करवा दिया है। सलाहुद्दीन फाउंडेशन इन बच्चों को किताबें, कापियाँ, यूनिफॉर्म, बस्ते और हर मुमकिन सहूलत फराहम कर रही है। मारूफ ह्यूमैनिटेरियन और सूफी स्कॉलर आमना सलाहुद्दीन की सरपरस्ती में चलने वाला ये इदारा मुकम्मल तौर पर फी सबीलिल्लाह चल रहा है और तमाम रज़ाकार इस काम को अपना फ़र्ज समझकर अंजाम दे रहे हैं। आपके अतियात, ज़कात और सदक़ात पाकिस्तान के बच्चों को एक बेहतर मुस्तक़बिल दे सकते हैं।
Get your copy of newly published novel Uphill. Uphill is a window into contemporary Pakistani life and is a story of a young Pakistani couple who battle life on many fronts. Written by well-known physician Dr. Zora Salahuddin, Uphill grabs your full attention. Get your copy today at Amazon.com or from the publisher iUniverse. You can also order it at BarnesandNobles.com. Get your copy today.
हेल्पिंग हैंड रिलीफ एंड डेवलपमेंट की इंतजामिया की जानिब से पाकिस्तान में सैलाबी इलाकों के दौरे के बाद $15 मिलियन से रिफाई कामों का ऐलान। मुल्क भर में 10,000 से जायद यतीम बच्चों की किफालत के अलावा हमारे 14 मुख्तलिफ प्रोजेक्ट्स काम कर रहे हैं। मौजूदा सैलाब के दौरान हेल्पिंग हैंड 30 से जायद डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में 1,30,000 से जायद अफराद को मदद फराहम कर चुकी है। 15 मिलियन के टारगेट की तकमील के लिए आपके ताउन की अशद जरूरत है। डोनेट कीजिए।
Catastrophic floods have impacted the people of Pakistan once again. Nearly 1,000 people have died, and 1 million people are now homeless. As the rains continue, the conditions are worsening. Islamic Relief is on the ground now, delivering life-saving aid to those who need it most. Support your brothers and sisters in Pakistan and donate today.
As part of our disaster relief efforts in Pakistan, Hidayat Foundation has been providing cooked food for thousands of people daily. Every day, our team delivers food to the masses who have set up makeshift camps on the elevated roadsides where they still await.
How you doing, Mira?
Good.
Good job. Honey, where's the masala for the chicken biryani?
In front of you.
And for the veg biryani?
You're holding it. तेल मसाला को बहुत
Get your copy of newly published novel Uphill. Uphill is a window into contemporary Pakistani life and is a story of a young Pakistani couple who battle life on many fronts. Written by well-known physician Dr. Zora Salahuddin, Uphill grabs your full attention. Get your copy today at Amazon.com or from the publisher iUniverse. You can also order it at BarnesandNobles.com. Get your copy today.
गुर्बत, अफलास, भूख, मगर अब ये सब कुछ ख़त्म हो रहा है। सलाहुद्दीन एजुकेशन सर्विसेज ने इन बच्चों को गलियों और सड़कों से उठाकर स्कूल के पाकीज़ा माहौल में दाखिल करवा दिया है। सलाहुद्दीन फाउंडेशन इन बच्चों को किताबें, कापियाँ, यूनिफॉर्म, बस्ते और हर मुमकिन सहूलत फराहम कर रही है। मारूफ ह्यूमैनिटेरियन और सूफी स्कॉलर आमना सलाहुद्दीन की सरपरस्ती में चलने वाला ये इदारा मुकम्मल तौर पर फी सबीलिल्लाह चल रहा है और तमाम रज़ाकार इस काम को अपना फ़र्ज समझकर अंजाम दे रहे हैं। आपके अतियात, ज़कात और सदक़ात पाकिस्तान के बच्चों को एक बेहतर मुस्तक़बिल दे सकते हैं।
आपसे रिश्ता है प्यार का।
Welcome back, viewers, after the break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We had some callers that were calling and we couldn't hear them. So I believe we do have one caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum, you're on the air.
Assalamu alaikum, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Amna, you're doing a great show and I want to congratulate you first of all. और मेरा सवाल आपसे ये है कि
Thank you so much.
कुछ यहाँ की हॉलीडेज अमेरिका में रहते हुए आपको आवाज आ रही है जी?
जी मुझे आ रही है।
जी, अमेरिका में रहते हुए अक्सर हॉलीडेज जैसे हैलोवीन होता है, लोगों का एक डिवाइडेड ओपिनियन है कि ये इस्लामिक है या नहीं। इसी तरह थैंक्सगिविंग है, ये कल्चरल हॉलीडे तो है, लेकिन मैंने देखा कि कुछ फैमिलीज अवॉइड भी करते हैं यहाँ के लोकल हॉलीडेज को या सेलिब्रेट करने से। तो आप इस सिलसिले में लोगों से कुछ बात कीजिए ताकि एक जो कंफ्यूजन कम्युनिटी में है वो दूर हो।
Okay, you've posed a wonderful question and I'm so glad, and that is the reason we have this show Understanding Faith, to end the confusion. बहुत मेरी बहन जिन्होंने फोन किया बहुत अच्छा सवाल किया, वो ये कह रही हैं कि ये जो कंफ्यूजन है कि थैंक्सगिविंग मनाना सही है या नहीं, क्या इसका इस्लाम से कोई क्लैश है या हैलोवीन मनाना सही है, तो मैं इसमें ये कहूँगी कि देखें, इस्लाम एक बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है, एक बहुत बड़ा दायरा है। हर अच्छी चीज़ इस्लाम में आ जाती है और हर बुरी चीज़ इस्लाम के दायरे से खारिज हो जाती है। अब उसके अच्छे और बुरे की डिटर्मिनेशन उसकी नीयत पर और उसके इस्तेमाल पे डिपेंड होती है। अब हम ये बात जानते हैं कि हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के ज़माने में सेल फोन नहीं थे, कंप्यूटर नहीं थे, बहुत सी चीज़ें नहीं थीं, तो जाहिर है कुरान उन चीज़ों के बारे में बात नहीं करता, मगर कुरान में साइंटिफिक बहुत सी चीज़ों के ऊपर इशारे हैं जिनसे हम नतीजे अखज़ कर सकते हैं। तो मैं ये कहूँगी क्योंकि कुरान की जो साइंस है, उसकी नंबरिंग की जो साइंस है, हमें एक एक चीज़ के बारे में पता चल जाता है जब हम इन डेप्थ स्टडी करें। मगर मेरी बहन ने जो सवाल किया है उसका खुलासा ये है कि देखिए, अगर हम एक चीज़ को गलत तरीके से इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, गलत नीयत और गलत तरीके से, तो वो फिर गुनाह और बुरे के ज़िम्रे में आ जाएगी। मगर अगर हम उसी चीज़ को एक अच्छे रीज़न से, जैसे टीवी है, अब हम इस टीवी को अंडरस्टैंडिंग फेथ जैसे शो के लिए इस्तेमाल करते हैं जिसमें हम इल्म फैलाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, खुद को भी बेहतरी की तरफ माइल करते हैं, दूसरों को भी कोशिश करते हैं कि अच्छाई की तरफ माइल करें। तो जब हम इस तरह की चीज़ें टीवी पर लेकर आते हैं तो वो एक अच्छी चीज़ बन जाती है, और इसके अंदर ये सब चीज़ें मबा हैं और ये चीज़ें अच्छी हैं, ना सिर्फ अच्छी हैं बल्कि ये नेकी के दायरे में आ जाती हैं। लेकिन अगर इसी टीवी को हम गुनाह के कामों के लिए, लोगों को गलत कामों के लिए इस्तेमाल करें, हम गलत चीज़ें करें, ये ऐसी बात है कि किसी औरत के हाथ में एक पर्स है, उस पर्स के अंदर कुरान भी हो सकता है, उस पर्स के अंदर चर्च भी हो सकती है, उस पर्स के अंदर कुछ भी जहर हो सकता है किसी के लिए, उस पर्स के अंदर दवा हो सकती है किसी के लिए। वो पर्स बुरा नहीं है, वो क्या चीज उसके अंदर है और वो किस नीयत से है और उसका क्या इस्तेमाल है, वो चीज डिटरमिन करेगी। तो माय डियर व्यूअर्स, थैंक्सगिविंग इज जस्ट अ सोशल कल्चरल हॉलीडे। ये भी कोई क्रिश्चियन मजहब का हिस्सा नहीं थी कि हम ये भी सोचें कि ये ईसाइयों के मजहब की चीज है। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, ईसाई मजहब भी इस्लाम ही था, और ये सारे मजहब इस्लाम थे। इसका नाम किसी ने कुछ रख लिया, किसी ने कुछ रख लिया, मगर हजरत ईसा अलैहिस्सलाम, हमारा ईमान है कि वो भी अल्लाह की तरफ से नबी आए, और हम तमाम नबियों को, उनकी तमाम शरीयतों को मानते हैं। और फिर आखिरुज़्ज़मा नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम आए, जब कुरान का वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन लेकर आए तो ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऊपर आ गया और हम इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पे चलते हैं। लेकिन थैंक्स गिविंग इज जस्ट अ सोशल हॉलीडे, क्योंकि 1621 में 1621 में जब ब्रिटिश कॉलोनिस्ट आए, जो पिलग्रिम्स आए, जब उन्होंने इधर आए और यहाँ पर वो मे फ्लावर में बैठ के पिछले उसके एक साल पहले या कुछ सीजन्स पहले आए, तो उन्होंने बहुत सारी टफ they faced a lot of tough conditions. पिलग्रिम्स ने बहुत सारी टफ कंडीशंस डील की। तो अमेरिकन इंडियंस ने उनकी मदद की, उनको शिकार करना सिखाया, उनको हार्वेस्ट उगानी सिखाई। तो उन्होंने एज अ थैंक्स, जब फॉल आया, ऑटम आया, क्योंकि मार्च में उनकी पहली मुलाकात हुई थी ये वैम्पनोक कबीले से, जब पहला थैंक्स गिविंग उन्होंने फॉल में मनाया, फॉल की हार्वेस्ट, क्योंकि खिज़ां के टाइम पे जब उन्होंने हार्वेस्ट अपनी काटी, अपनी जो फसल काटी, तो उन्होंने कहा कि इन लोगों ने जिन्होंने हमारे साथ इतना कोऑपरेट किया, हमें अमान दिया, हम इनका शुक्रिया अदा करें। और ये टर्की, पीपल आस्क मी व्हाई वी ईट टर्की, इसका रीजन ये है कि मैसाचुसेट्स के लैंड में बेइंतहा टर्कीज थे, बेइंतहा मिलियंस, 10,000 मिलियंस दे से वर इन मैसाचुसेट्स। तो ये कॉमन सेंस की बात है, जो चीज़ ज़्यादा अवेलेबल होगी बंदा उसी को खाएगा। अब जैसे पाकिस्तान में हम ऊंट और घोड़े का गोश्त नहीं खाते, मगर अरबी कंट्रीज़ में ऊंट और घोड़े का गोश्त खाया जाता है, क्योंकि ये जानवर वहाँ पाए जाते हैं। तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो हैं इंसान उस लैंड के तहत करता है। फिर टर्की एक बड़ा एनिमल, एक बड़ा बर्ड है, इट्स अ बिग बर्ड। हुजूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की हदीसें हैं कि भाई छोटी चीज़ को ना मारो, बड़ी चीज़ को मारो। लेकिन बहुत से लोग थैंक्स गिविंग पे और चीज़ें भी खाते हैं, पाए खाते हैं, पटेटोज खाते हैं, कॉर्न खाते हैं। तो वी डोंट हैव टू ईट टर्की। थैंक्स गिविंग का मतलब ये है कि एक ग्रुप ने दूसरे ग्रुप की नेकी और अच्छाई को रिकग्नाइज किया और उसका शुक्रिया अदा किया। The English pilgrims, the colonists, they thanked the American Indians, this particular tribe, they thanked them for helping them. So they had this big feast. तो वो जो एक्चुअली जो अमेरिकन इंडियंस हैं, उनका मशहूर है कि वो वेनिजन्स, जो डियर, जो हिरन का गोश्त होता है, वो हिरन का गोश्त लेकर आए और वो हिरन का शिकार करके लाए, और वो अपनी और बीन्स और सब्जियां वगैरह लेकर आए। और इधर पिलग्रिम्स जो थे, क्योंकि वो ब्रिटिशर्स थे, तो ब्रिटेन में क्योंकि टर्की वगैरह और ये चीज़ें ज़्यादा खाई जाती थी, तो वो टर्की उन्होंने बनाया, कॉर्न बनाया, पटेटोज बनाए। तो जो अमेरिकन इंडियंस थे, उन्होंने अपनी तरफ से हिरन का गोश्त ले आए, बीन्स ले आए, अपनी और चीजें बीन्स लेकर आ गए। तो ये दो ग्रुप्स के बीच में जो मोहब्बत का इजहार था, उसके बदले में ये थैंक्सगिविंग की हॉलिडे मनाई जाती है। कनाडा में भी दे सेलिब्रेट बिकॉज इट वाज इट डेट्स बैक टू, उनकी कोई शिप सलामत आ गई थी 1578 में, उनकी थैंक्सगिविंग शुरू हुई थी। अमेरिका में it started in 1621 and then it was celebrated by individual tribes and Indian tribes, individual tribes, Americans and individual states. And then I think in 1863 or something, it was under Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln के दौर में Thanksgiving को official holiday बना दिया। तो आप इसमें जो चाहें खा सकते हैं, Thanksgiving मनाएं या ना मनाएं, मना ले। मैं तो कहूँगी एक छुट्टियों का टाइम है, फैमिली से मिलें, एक दूसरे का शुक्रिया अदा करें, अल्लाह ताला का शुक्रिया अदा करें। जो शुक्रगुजार दिल होता है वो हर एक का शुक्रिया अदा करता है। अगर आप अल्लाह का शुक्र अदा कर रहे हैं, बंदे का नहीं कर रहे, तो अभी कुछ कमी है ईमान में। और मैं कुरान पाक की कुछ आयतें, स्पेशली एक आयत मेरे जहन में आ रही है जो सूरह लुकमान की है, क्योंकि हजरत लुकमान अलैहिस्सलाम का मशहूर है कि अल्लाह ताला ने उनको अक्ल व हिकमत से माला माल किया हुआ था। तो आई एम गोना कोट अ कपल ऑफ ayahs. So it says, وَإِذْ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَئِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. And it says that remember your Lord. I'm sorry, this I'm reading from Surah Ibrahim, number 7, ayah 7, and this says, remember your Lord and be grateful to him. And if you're grateful, God will bestow more favors unto you. But if you're an ingrate, if you show ingratitude, then my punishment is terrible indeed. So Allah is telling us what he does. He likes a grateful heart. और सूरह लुकमान की जो मैं कह रही थी, उसकी आयत ये है कि वलक़द आतैना लुकमान अल हिकमत अनिश्कुर लिल्लाह वमन यशकुर फ़इन्नमा यशकुरु लिनफ्सी वमन कफ़र फ़इन्नल्लाह गनियुन हमीद. We bestowed in the past wisdom on Luqman and told Luqman, show thy gratitude to Allah, and who is so grateful does so to the profit of his own soul. But if thou is ungrateful, verily Allah is free of all wants, worthy of all praise. So my dear viewers, Allah is saying, give thanks, it only benefits us. जब हम अल्लाह ताला का हुजूर की हदीस मैंने पढ़ी कि जो इंसान दूसरे इंसान का शुक्र अदा नहीं करता, वो अल्लाह ताला का भी शुक्र अदा नहीं करता। अमेरिका से हमें नफरत नहीं करनी, हम अमेरिका में रह रहे हैं, यहाँ कमा रहे हैं, हम अपने बच्चों को इन पैसों में पाल रहे हैं जो हमें अमेरिका में हम कमा रहे हैं। तो अमेरिका से इस तरह की फीलिंग ना रखें कि जी हम थैंक्सगिविंग नहीं मना सकते, हम हैलोवीन नहीं मना सकते। हैलोवीन पे क्या करते हैं, हम कैंडी बांटते हैं बच्चों में। हम हर चीज को इस्लामी तरीके से करें। बेशक थैंक्सगिविंग पे आप, मेरे घर में भी थैंक्सगिविंग के लिए जब सब पहुंचेंगे तो मुझे अल्लाह ताला का शुक्र करना है, कुरान पढ़ना है, सबके साथ मिलके दुआ करनी है, अपने प्यारों को कुछ खिलाना है। अपने वर्कर्स के लिए मैंने अलग सारा अरेंज किया है, दोस्तों के लिए। मेरे भाई ने अपने घर, मंसूर सलाहुद्दीन ने थैंक्सगिविंग रखी है। हर एक को याद करना है, हर एक के साथ अपनी बाउंटी शेयर करनी है, हर एक के साथ मोहब्बत दिखानी है, हर एक का शुक्रिया अदा करना है। तो जब कोई भी मौका आता है, थैंक्सगिविंग का सुनहरा मौका है, क्योंकि छुट्टियां हैं, हम इस कंट्री में रह रहे हैं, हमें छुट्टी मिल रही है, तो उस छुट्टी में क्यों ना हम सबको जमा करें, सबके साथ सेलिब्रेट करें, सबका शुक्रिया अदा करें, अपना रब का शुक्रिया अदा करें, अपने सर को झुकाएं और कहें कि या अल्लाह तेरा लाख लाख शुक्र है। और जो दूसरे हमारे अनफॉर्चुनेट बहन भाई हैं, उनको भी शरीक करें, उनको भी बुलाएं, उनको कुछ भिजवाएं, किसी के घर में राशन डलवा दें। $20, $10, $30 में किसी के घर में पूरे महीने का राशन आ जाएगा। तो मेरे व्यूअर्स, लेट्स ऑल गिव थैंक्स टू अल्लाह, टू ईच अदर, to everything around us, and let us have a grateful and happy and thanksgiving heart. And I want to end the show, but inshallah we will continue this. And I want to end it by reading my last quote, which is from Surah Al Imran, and it's ayat 145. وَكَانَ لِلنَّاسِ أَن تَمُوتَ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ كِتَابًا مُؤَجَّلًا وَمَن يُرِدْ ثَوَابَ الدُّنْيَا نُؤْتِهِ مِنْهَا وَمَن يُرِدْ ثَوَابَ الْآخِرَةِ نُؤْتِهِ مِنْهَا وَسَنَجْزِي الشَّاكِرِينَ. Nor can a soul die except by Allah's leave, the term being fixed as by writing. If any do desire a reward in this life, we shall give it to him, and if any do desire a reward in the hereafter, we shall give it to him. and swiftly shall we reward that serve us with gratitude and that show gratitude. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Inshallah, Ameen. Until next time.
ज़ैना सुपरमार्केट हलाल मीट एंड बेकरी 100% ज़बिया हलाल मीट, फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस और हर किस्म की हलाल ग्रोसरी। रेस्टोरेंट में ताज़ा शवरमा, हलाल पिज़्ज़ा, बर्गर्स और ताज़ा बारबेक्यू आइटम्स, ताज़ा बेकरी आइटम्स और स्वीट्स फ्रॉम टर्की एंड मिडिल ईस्ट, हुक्का एंड टोबैको। कीमतें इंतहाई मुनासिब और सर्विस लाजवाब।
Welcome to Zaina Market and Bakery. All what you need from halal grocery store and meat.
ज़ैना सुपरमार्केट को याद रखिए, 2735 फाउंड्रेन रोड, ह्यूस्टन, टेक्सास।
जरूर आइएगा।
US ट्रैवल्स एंड टूर्स की जानिब से आपके लिए खुसूसी उम्रा पैकेजेस। मक्का और मदीना में 5 स्टार अकोमोडेशन, VIP बसेस, ब्रेकफास्ट और ज़ियारात। इसके अलावा ट्रैवल एंड एमिरेट्स एयरलाइंस एंड फ्री होटल स्टे इन दुबई। Visa processing service for no additional charge, complimentary giveaways and Zamzam water. And sisters over 45 can travel without mahram. For more information, call 972-889-8747. US Travel and Tours, 888 S Greenville Avenue, Suite 130, Richardson, Texas.
विटामिन हर्बल होम्योपैथिक सेंटर सिंस 1989 अपनी बीमारियों का मुकम्मल इलाज माहिर होम्योपैथ की जेर निगरानी हर्बल और होम्योपैथिक फार्मूलों से करें। सुपर डायबिटिक फार्मूला, हर्बल फार्मूला टू मेंटेन नॉर्मल शुगर लेवल।
मैं हूं इफ्तिखार चौधरी, होम्योपैथ हर्बलिस्ट। दुनिया अब एलोपैथिक मेडिसिन के साइड इफेक्ट से तंग आ चुकी है। अब आप होम्योपैथी की तरफ आएं। Call me for free consultation.
For orders and details, visit our website or consult the founder of Nutra Herbal and Homeopathic USA, Iftikhar Chaudhary.
क्या जमाना आ गया है, न मोहब्बत रही न चीजों में लज्जत।
हाँ बाबूजी।
बस ये नहीं बदला कि एक रस्क बचपन में छीन छीन कर खाता था।